Hello, welcome to another edition of That Millwall podcast. For all the listeners that are here waiting for us and people maybe catching up on this, firstly, a belated Merry Christmas. Hope you've all had a lovely Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Obviously, we'll come on to the football side of that shortly. But we will be joined by our leader, captain, leader, legend, Mickey, very shortly. He's having some technical issues. But for now, I'm joined by Joe Zampa. Joe, how are you?
Hi, Stephen. I'm good, thank you, especially after the result the other day. But obviously, glad that I'm on the show, of course. And hopefully it's nice we can talk about some positive stuff rather than negative stuff at the moment. So it'd be quite good to have a chat about it.
Absolutely. I was thinking when Mickey said about doing this, we haven't obviously won a game since Joe Edwards before yesterday, Joe Edwards' first game, which was Sheffield Wednesday, which seems an absolute eternity ago. So every time we've been doing a show or a space or in our WhatsApp group or Twitter, whatever, it's been quite miserable and downbeat. So I agree with you. It's quite nice to be talking about a victory. And on that note, we're now joined by, as I say, captain, leader, legend, Mickey.
Hey, doing, fellas? You all right?
Yeah, good yourself?
I'm all good. I'm all good, mate. I'm all good, mate. It's a lovely thing to be doing a show after a win. It just feels. I was tempted to do karaoke because I reckon that there's so many people who have probably forgotten the words by now, and I just thought, maybe we should do a karaoke session tonight, just on the first 10 minutes or something. We just go over what the words are, just so the people can't, don't forget, just in case we do it again against Norwich on Friday.
There's a really weird moment at full time when we hear that song come on. Me and Luke, the boy, just sort of stood there and like a bit numb, it's just like a weird feeling. And even mentioned like Dad, when we're leaving the ground, normally we don't talk for the last 3 months. So we don't talk. We get back to go, we're both in a bad mood. No one says anything on the way home, and we actually thought, we're actually in a good mood now. We're both sort of chatting away and all that. So what a difference it makes. It just changed the whole mood, doesn't it? Completely. It just sets up your whole your day, your week, your month, everything. Yeah.
It just sets up everything, doesn't it? It's just, it's nice. It's nice to do a show in it, Stephen, where we're smiling for the right reason rather than like smiling for a sarcastic reason.
I said just before you joined us, Mick, I said, obviously the last time we did the show after a win was Sheffield Wednesday, which I know it was quite a while ago, but it seems months ago that we've actually been able to come on.
It wasn't it? Was that end of September? Was it?
I want to say end of October, because I'm not sure. Someone
October, in it, because he left in about October the 21st, 22nd.
Or was it end of October then? It's a couple of months then. It's been a couple of months.
It was October because it was at the
11th of November.
Oh, there you go. Just before the international, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, because he joined. When did he join? On the 6th or the 7th, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
He was there. I think didn't they do it all early that week, didn't they? They had like a whole week of build up of press conferences and stuff. And on the subject of Joe Edwards, I actually the good starting point I think for us for this is really, I actually was quite relieved for him and quite pleased for him. I can imagine he made a comment after his in the interview with the club's website to say that all the staff had been singing "Rocking All Over the World" at the Christmas party, and he'd been waiting to hear it at a game. So I would imagine more so than anything, it was just a huge sense of relief when Murray Wallace scored the second for him.
I think I think that even though a lot of clubs seem to fucking sing it now, but I think it sounds when the Den's fallen, and looking at reports and stuff, people were saying that it was another dull atmosphere, but I think when that landed, the atmosphere just picked up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, Joe, obviously, namesake, you could see in the video after, well, the players and Edwards. Every time the camera panned to him, you could just sense that meant a lot to him. I mean, the Sheffield Wednesday game obviously meant a lot. It was his first game in football, and there's been a lot of talk. Not the finished article, but you could see that it meant a lot to him, and it's something now for him to build on as a coach and as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. And also shared with the players as well. I mean, you can see there's a crop of players there. I'm not saying every player, but you can see there's a crop of players that really like Edwards. You can tell by, the hugs, whether it be a substitution, and the ones that do hug him, the ones that don't hug him. And I'm not saying he's got his favourites, but clearly there are a few that are thriving under him and enjoy him as a coach. So at the end of full time, you can see how happy he was, but also how happy the players were to give him that first home win, which meant so much to us, to him, and to everyone associated with the club. So, yeah, let's hope we can replicate that on Friday and get another win against Norwich. Ain't going to be an easy task, is it? But it's definitely possible. I think we could build on this and get the confidence going. Then who knows?
No, that's it. I totally agree with you. Let's just do some of these. Hello, Connor. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to Paul. Hello, Chris. Happy Christmas to you. Evening, boys. Much needed win. Yep, 100%. Thomas, evening. Oh, hello from Sweden. Hello there. Is it? And Chris said the 11th of November. So, yeah.
I mean, on the game,
it's needed. I mean, sorry, Steve, to fucking thing it, but go on the game. First half, a bit shit, but we held them at bay. But I mean, what's your view? What's your thoughts on the first half? Start with you, Stephen.
It was a tough watch. I actually thought first 10-15 minutes we come out and looked quite settled, quite comfortable. Not creating loads of chances. It was the sort of if moments, if the ball bounces kindly, or if the shot doesn't get blocked. Once I think they perhaps broke behind us, but Lyndon Dykes up front for them. I know we were heavily linked with him last summer, the summer before. Didn't do anything for me that would suggest that he would be the answer to any of our problems whatsoever. There was a stat, I think me and Joe actually were talking about it in the chat. They had like 64% of the ball in the first half, but the majority of that was between their goalkeeper and their defenders. That doesn't bother me. You can pass it around your back all you want. That's fine with me. And we scored probably, as they say, at the best possible time, a couple of minutes before half time, and probably settled the fans, settled Edwards, settled the players, and it gave us something to fight for in the second half. Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you say. I think given the last 5-10 minutes of Imaku in the last game, it feels like such a long time ago. Who was that against the last game we played before this one?
Stoke,
yeah. Obviously, he looked very lively, didn't he? Come on, he looked very, very sharp. And we've been saying for weeks and weeks, we're lacking pace. We're lacking that kind of a bit of fire up front. And I was so pleased that he started. Okay, not quite in the middle where I would preferred him, but he still played an attacking position for us on the left-hand side. So ready on paper, thinking that's great. The fact that Fleming was dropped, and again, as you know, I'm a big fan of, where is he there, of Zian, but he doesn't deserve the start at the moment. So having Watmore start, excellent. I thought he'd done really well for sort of 60, 65 minutes until he kind of, blew a gasket again. So even having Joe Edwards, Joe Bryan at left back, just that sense of quality on the pitch. We had a nice kind of balance to us, didn't we? And we looked good, although we didn't look exciting in the first half, and both teams didn't really sort of like go for it too much. But we looked okay. And of course, like you say, we scored at the perfect time. What's interesting, you mentioned about Lyndon Dykes there as well. He was very, very clever. If you notice what he'd done is he kept peeling off and going to Wes Harding, think, you know what, I'm going to pick you as a centre back. We're going to go 50-50 with each other, thinking he'd be the easy target. And I reckon Wes had him in his pocket. I don't recall Lyndon Dykes getting much out of him, to be fair. Okay, at the end, maybe the odd header here and there, but Wes had him in his pocket pretty much. And he could have gone to Cooper, but obviously he chose Wes. I think Wes done with him. So, big mention there for Wes Harding. I think done really well, dealt with him really well.
You mentioned Cooper. Cooper had a bit of a shocking game, to be fair. He wasn't great in any way, was he?
I don't think he done anything too bad. There was a couple of passes. I think he kind of mishit, didn't he? And he went long a few times. He didn't look comfortable on the ball too often. But that being said, I think he put in a couple of blocks. Defensively, I think he looked quite strong. But he didn't probably have much to do anyway, because like I said, Lyndon went on Wes Harding, which kind of left which left Cooper as the free defender almost to sort of do the sweeping. And that's not really his job, I suppose, is it? But yeah, I mean, he looks a bit shaky in certain areas, but ultimately, he didn't really put too much foot wrong, I don't think.
I also think.
Unless you saw what you saw on TV, did it worse than what it did watching it live? How did it look like to you?
I think Cooper's always going to be one where, if he's got the ball at his feet, you're always going to have that little bit of panic that, oh my God, what's he going to do? Where's it going? And there are times, and this isn't just from yesterday, it happens a lot, where he gets the ball, he's got it in his left foot, and he passes it out to whoever's at left back, and he will drill it. He will absolutely drill it at them out there. And, they're professional footballers. They should be able to, control the ball. But I think Cooper's probably, he's in the side because of his appearances and how long he's been at the club, and we don't really have another left-sided centre-back that perhaps could really rival him for that spot. I don't think Hutchinson works on the left-hand side. I don't particularly think Harding would work on the left-hand side, or anybody. Maybe Murray Wallace, but again, that I don't think you'd always go with Coops. Someone said there, I think Coops is done at this level from what I've seen this season. I don't know about done. But I think that he's certainly one that it'd be interesting next summer to see what Joe Edwards does with him, on the basis that if he wants to play football from the back, it's probably not going to be Jake Cooper that carries us forward.
It's sad to say, to your point there, Stephen, I don't think Cooper is going to be, and probably Murray Wallace, to be fair, is going to be in Joe Edwards' long-term plans. You can see what's happened in the last few games. He's brought that defensive line a little bit deeper to eliminate the fast strikers getting behind our defenders, which in turn has helped. I think we conceded 1 goal in 3 games now. So defensively, we're looking a lot better with a little bit of a sprinkle of Joe Edwards in attacking play. But what that means is we're now not, the defenders are probably looking better at the moment because we're not letting forwards getting behind us like we did in the first few games under his charge. But you just know that's not how Joe wants to play. He wants to play the high line and really kind of push forward. So in January, probably not so much. I reckon probably in the summer, he'll probably look to strengthen that defensive area. And I can see him clearing that defence out a little bit. I mean, out of those defenders, who would you reckon would remain in this team next season if Joe gets his wish and plays that attacking line, attacking football?
None of them.
It's interesting. I think Joe Bryan would probably hold. I think Joe Bryan would hold his spot if he can stay fit. I think he would hold his spot.
I agree with that.
What about Leonard on the other side?
Well, this is one I was going to come on to. I think let's be honest, if we look at the team yesterday, the 11, Joe Edwards, again, we don't know this for sure, but if you take out, I would say Jake Cooper at centre half, take out probably George Honeyman at centre mid, and perhaps at a push, Brooke Norton-Cuffy. I like him, I really do, but I don't think Edwards wants to be playing a right wing back at right wing. I think he would want to actually get in an actual winger.
Who's this? Sorry?
A lot of Brooke Norton-Cuffy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
As good as he is, and I'd love to sign him, but perhaps try and work on him defensively. I think that a lot of the players that played yesterday can play the way Edwards wants to, but I don't think that many of them will be in the starting team come next summer under Edwards, because he's going to want to bring in his own players to do different things. So Bryan in the defence, maybe Leonard, but I think Leonard will be offered a deal because of the level of his performances. Maybe not as a starter, but someone in the squad.
Yeah.
Harding, I'm not sure. Cooper, probably not. Murray Wallace, probably not. Hutchinson, I'd probably not.
Do new manager coming in, potentially say is here 2-3 years, as good as Leonard is, and as good as everyone sits here and says, oh, Leonard this, Leonard that, blah, blah, blah. Do you really want him in? What is he now, 31?
Yeah, I think go to what Steve just said. I think if he's a squad player, which is a shame because this season he could potentially be our player of the season if he stays fit. So it'd be a bit harsh on him to say
Leonard.
Yeah. It'd be a little bit harsh on him if he gets dropped next season. But to the point that Steve's making there as well is we do need to improve on that. Yeah, maybe Joe Bryan for me is the only one that might keep his place at left back if he stays fit. But I agree. I reckon we need to replace the 2 centre backs, the right back as well, and maybe keep Leonard more of a squad player, and that might suit him down to ground because that will be less toll on his body, so less injuries for him, and he just comes in when we need him to sort of shore things up sometimes.
I tweeted. Sorry, on that comment about Leonard.
No.
Yeah. I tweeted earlier about Leonard potentially being, or he's going to, at the moment, my vote for player of the season as it stands. And everyone said at the start of the season, you don't get any games out of him. You don't get this. He gets injured. Now we know he's got an injury in him. He's played 18 out of the 25 competitive fixtures so far this season. If he falls under because he signed a deal under Rowett, we don't know how Edwards would work, but I would imagine that in his contract, it will say if you play X amount of games, he will automatically trigger another season, which I don't think would be a bad. I don't think it would be a bad thing.
I can't see that. Not for a 31-year-old, no chance.
But that's what they do, though. That's what Millwall have done. If you're over the age of 30, you only get a 1-year deal, and you can trigger an extension.
I don't know about triggering an extension because say he plays 30 games or 25 games, and on the 26th game he gets injured. Millwall's fucked then. If he gets a serious injury, Millwall's fucked. They're liable for a year and a. No, there's no chance in a million. I honestly, there's no chance I can see that. You know what I mean?
So you say that just before you come in there, Joe. And I know he was sold or he was let go because of the policy in the transfer window. But last season under Gary Rowett, Andreas Vogelsammer, a favourite of those on the show, there's an article on News at Den that said Andreas Vogelsammer contract has been extended by another year. He initially joined on a 1-year deal, but that has now been extended by another 12 months due to the number of appearances he's made.
Yeah.
So because they're over the age of 30, they offer that, Sean Hutchinson is never going to get that because obviously he's not playing at the the moment. I don't know if Leonard's got that.
Yeah, Vogslammer's under 30 though, isn't he?
At the time, yeah. I think at the time he was, wasn't he?
Possibly.
Mill has a policy on over 30s anyway. So,
but if they're including that for someone that they bought from Germany, who let's face it, I know he turned out not to be very good, but we didn't know that at the time. I would imagine that part of Leonard's deal. I would imagine that would be, and as I say, I wouldn't. This season he's been very, very good. Maybe, as people have been saying, the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't be showing him the door next summer. But I also wouldn't be having him as a starter.
Yeah. I think either way, to your point, Steve, I think I'd be happy. I mean, I'd be happy if there is that clause in his contract. So, right, if you play X amount of games, you get a 1-year extension. But it depends how, gung ho Joe wants to be. He might need that for wages, and he might see that as right. We can let Leonard go, use that as part of the budget to get this player in on a free, or this loan player in, or whatever it might be. Knowing that Leonard's only got probably one more good season left in it. Because let's be honest, like he'd be 32 next season, and I know for defenders that's not over the hill too much, but you're not exactly in your prime anymore, are you? Do we really want to keep him there when he's 32, 33 years of age? Playing championship football. I mean, he doesn't look very unfit. He looks quite fit for himself. He gets about the pitch. He's not particularly slow. But I've got a funny feeling that this is his final year that we'll see the best of Leonard. I reckon next season we'll see a decline, a bit like how Hutchinson's been this year. Hutchinson's not the same player as last season. That's only 1 year. You can see the legs have gone a little bit. He's not as quick as he was. And what's Hutchinson now? Is he 32, I think? 32,
yes, 33? I think so.
So, it'd be a real shame he gets player of the year and then gets let go,
Well, I've just looked up, but when he signed the deal, that it was reported that the 31-year-old former Southend Sheffield United player featured 18 times in all competitions last season. He's already played 18 games this year.
Yeah.
And it just says that the South London club have not disclosed the length of Leonard's new deal. So we think it was a year.
Just for his versatility. the fact he can play centre back, right back, centre midfield. I mean, I think he's a good player to keep on, even just as a backup option. To have him as a squad player.
I think Alex could be right there. I do think there is something that he got offered a different deal. So
yeah,
that's not what was reported, but I'm trying to find that out. But yeah, look, we've digressed from the game yesterday. But Ryan Leonard for me has been very good this year. Perhaps other players haven't been as good, which is why he's getting more of the limelight.
He can't be player of the season, mate. He can't be your player. Surely Cuffy's got to be player of the season.
Right,
for the fact that he's won more. How many low knees have won more man of the matches than he has?
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, Norton Cup, if he keeps going and does get some more goals and assists, then yes, I think he would naturally. But at this point in time, I think Leonard has been probably the most consistent player over the season, which again isn't, when you sit in 20th in the league, isn't a lot to shout about, but you have to vote for someone, and there has to be a player of the season. So
yeah, but to me, surely they need to play all of them. I'm not missing your comments, Bobby. I just don't think it's appropriate to put them in right this minute. We will go into where at the moment we're talking about the game we played yesterday. When we come on to Norwich, then I'll put your comments up. But don't worry, everybody in the fucking chat can see your comments and then go. So yeah, and if you keep
love the enthusiasm, Bobby. Love the enthusiasm.
If you're fucking pushing it, Bobby, I'll fucking time you out. You know what I mean? I'll drop you an Instagram when we get round to your questions, shall I? As you're working on the shop floor, just make sure you don't spray any Harrods customers in the eyes with your perfume. If you imagine friends and Joey, dressed up as a cowboy, and that's what Bobby is. Bobby's dressed up as a cowboy today, I bet.
Like Woody from Toy Story.
Have you seen, by the way, Joe, right? Have you seen the size of Bobby?
No.
And he's like boxing, his Thai boxing and that he does in the back garden. I wouldn't be as brave as you to call him Woody, mate. Check out his Instagram, you'll see.
Chris has just stopped you right in it. His comments don't come up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, sorry, no, because he's on Facebook. Yeah, he's on Facebook.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh look, the Peckham Poet has finally caught a live stream. Good evening to you. Hope you're well.
Is he is he?
I think he probably listens to us
after
when we go
show.
as a pod or after the show. But yeah, no,
I agree with the blur there. I agree. I think Saville and Leonard are probably our most consistent players. I'm guessing over the last sort of 2-3 years, I reckon. I would say.
Yeah, but what I was saying earlier, and Stephen Kane and whatnot, and we sort of digressed a bit, is that a new manager doesn't want to be relying on building a team with Leonard, Qpr, etc. No. Cooper would be better off to get a final swan song and maybe go to Scotland, because that is probably, what's Scottish football? Probably League One, really, maybe League Two. It's not Championship, is it? Do you know what I mean? As much as the Scottish fans will go, oh, well, it's not.
Do you know, with Cooper, I mean, I think in the right team, the right sort of formation, he's a very, very, very good player. For example, under Rowett, he was very, very, very effective, because Rowett would play a very low defensive line. It plays to Cooper's strength, and very rarely did he kind of get beaten for pace, because there's never that much space behind him. But the way that Joe's trying to play him and push him up the pitch a bit more, he's vulnerable. So what we're saying is, we may end up letting him go next season, let's say, which would be a bit of a shock, but I can see it happening.
Let him go, Reading.
And he might go really well. There's a reason, Mickey, why I really let him go. Because they probably saw he's not a footballing defender. They wanted to play on the front foot and possession football, attacking football. And that's why they're quite happy to see Cooper leave and join us. But it suited us, because that's sort of defender we needed at the time,
Okay, can I just put one thing out there, please, right? Rowett has left the building, right? We don't need to keep going. But when Rowett did this, did that.
But it's still
when the Doc was manager, we won the fucking league. Do you know what I mean? And when Jules Graham was here, he signed some amazing talent. and it is what it is. You know,
But you know what it is?
I think Rowett's gone. Hello, Mr. Rowett, if you're watching. Yeah, you know, so yeah.
But you know what it is, Mickey? It's because it's Rowett's players and it still fits the
No,
Rowett system.
no. Cooper is not Rowett's player. It's fucking Harris's player.
Until we're clearing him out, we won't be mentioning Rowett. Until we clear him out, then we probably will be.
No, because Rowett didn't fucking buy Cooper. We've discussed this on past shows, and nice to know that you listen to our past shows, Joe. Thanks very much.
I'm always listening to the shows.
Yeah, but we've discussed that there's about 6 or 7 players what are still Harris's players.
Yeah.
Right? So Rowett fucking had no choice with Cooper. He was already there. Same as Leonard. Okay, he gave him a contract extension, but to be fair, that's probably Football Manager fucking Aldo did that, no one else. And all the other players. We need to just go, enough's enough, bop, out we go.
But
Frankie's coming.
I think
Jack Stam was the Reading manager at the time, and that was exactly why he let him go.
Yeah, I think Cooper and Hudson also were a lot younger. Yeah, we're talking 5 years ago when Harris was there. And obviously they're probably a bit quicker as well. I think Cooper, I'm not saying he's old, but he's not the player he was, say, 3 or 4 years ago, speed-wise in particular. Don't you start, Dan?
Do you know what, Joe, right? Seriously, and Stephen will back this up, right? Do you know how many episodes every week that people want you on the show just so we can play your jingle?
Shut the fuck up.
Just so we can play your jingle. So that literally we can do the jingle. People are going, yeah. You know, where's Joe tonight?
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
They love you. It's all in it's all in friendliness. Do you know what I mean? So
you've handed me the badge. I got the badge of the other day. Shut the fuck up, Joe. I brought it home. And Mr. said, "What's this?" I was like, "Long story." I couldn't bother go into it.
Just tell her to watch a show. We'll explain it for her.
Exactly.
Fleming yesterday.
Yeah, he was all right when he come on. I think what I don't want to happen, and Joe said it earlier about him being dropped. I don't think he should come back in for Norwich. I really don't think he should come back in for Norwich. I think he will, because you've always got that risk of Duncan Watmore with how fit, how can he play 2 games in 3 days or whatever it is. He looked okay, Fleming, when he come on. He put himself about a bit at a chance with his left foot, but I think I wouldn't say disappointed, but I would be against him coming back into the starting team on Friday. No issue with bringing him on.
Do you know the Dutch are going mad? Dutch fans are not happy that the fact that he's not playing. I mean, I got it the other day from the Fortuna guy, and he's going, you know, what's going on with Fleming? Why is he not playing? I said, because he's shit. And he went, really? He said, you know, there's lots of people what are unhappy that he's not playing. They think that he should be playing. You're like, mate, really?
He's clearly unhappy, and you can see that in the dynamics between him and Joe Edwards. Like when he came on yesterday, normally the manager sort of turns around, gives him a little pat at the arse, you know, a little word with them before they go on the pitch. He just ignored him, and he spoke to Murray Wallace instead very briefly when they went on the pitch. And that was one thing. At the end of the game, when they're coming off the pitch, Andy Myers was going to give him a bit of a hug and talk to him, and Fleming kind of ignored him, tried to get past him out of the way to shake Max's hand, and went down the tunnel. So he's clearly pissed off, Zian Fleming. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because one, it shows he's got passion. He doesn't want to be dropped. He wants to be starting. But is there more to it than that? Is there more to it that goes on behind the scenes we don't really know about, where he's fallen out with Joe Edwards? We don't know, do we?
I think Joe Edwards probably doesn't blow smoke up his arse.
No,
I don't think Joe Edwards probably blows smoke up a lot of their asses. And I think that, you know, probably in no uncertainties, he's been told, you're a Millwall player, now get out there and fucking play football.
Yeah.
You know, whatever happened, okay, there was lots of speculation, lots of rumour, your fucking agent was lying to you, or this was there, but it didn't happen. And now move on. Exactly. If it happens in the next window, great. But let's be honest, who the fuck in their right mind is going to give you 15 million for him now?
I'll tell you what, we'll be lucky to get 4 million at the moment for him.
Be lucky to get 50 pence.
Say it. But
you know what I mean?
Even
Peckham
against Huddersfield,
yeah, go on.
Mickey, even against Huddersfield, when he came off that game, he was pissed off.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Didn't shake Joe Edwards' hand, went straight past him. And then 10 minutes later, when Bradshaw come off, Bradshaw's fucking kissing Joe Edwards, hugging him, going to all the bench, shaking everyone's hands.
You see,
there's definitely not quite right there at the moment.
But you see, the thing is that you don't know. I mean, looking at what's out there, his agents are fucking putting him about because I can't see it being the club. No. I can, ESPN advert, for a show what he's done with ESPN, which is on his Insta.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's done a few different media clips with Dutch media,
and I doubt if the club as well, Mickey.
It looks like a documentary. It looks like an ESPN documentary.
Holland, yeah.
But
it's
I'm not being funny. He ain't that fucking good, though, is he? He's not exactly fucking Rude Hullet, is he? Do you know what I mean?
Or Van Basten, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is with Fleming, I think there's a hint of he's probably pissed off that he's not. Joe Edwards isn't like maybe how
blow smoke up his arse, like Mickey said.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that. You get the feeling that Gary Rowett knew it was a bit like, we've got a star player here. We're going to give him the ball. We're going to feed it to him. We're going to do this. I don't think Edwards is quite the same. I think he's obviously, or supposedly, one of our better players, but I don't think everything has to go through him. And also, you can tell with the free kicks and stuff, like Nisbet's taken them when he's been on the pitch. Penalties as well. I would imagine that Nisbet's probably going to be on those. And I just think he's a bit unhappy. Yeah. He also probably is unhappy. And he did that interview, didn't he? Sorry, Mick, before I forget this point. Last season, he was the main man. The fans were chanting his song every game. He scored goals. He was everything about him, well, for the majority of the season. And this year, and I don't know, I doubt he would have got it much at Fortuna because he was very well liked and supported there. This is the first time where he's getting people and they're giving him pelters.
Adversity he's going through.
And maybe he don't like it. Maybe he doesn't like that kind of it. But you're a professional footballer.
Even that interview he did where he said, Zian Fleming, he comes from Amsterdam, he fucking hates West Ham. He didn't seem too over enthusiastic that he had. I mean, the reason he come here and going by certain Dutch fans who've messaged him before and, DMs and everything else and what's that, they all believe that he only come here as a window basically to give exposure to him. But if he is a prima donna, and I'm not saying he is, but if he is a bit of a prima donna, the Premiership will not fucking touch him with a barge pole. They would not want him anywhere near them because it would just be absolute nightmare. And I think it's literally that when Rowett was there, like you said, Joe, Rowett played the team around him and literally get the ball to Fleming there, do the rest. Get the ball to Fleming there, do the rest. Get the ball to Fleming, do the rest. And now it's going, Joe's come in and gone, well, we give the ball to Fleming, you're fucking it up. You're taking a missed shot. You're not kicking it early enough. You're fucking trying to be a bit of a selfish player. You could have passed the ball the other day, fucking 20 yards to your right, and we could have scored. Instead, you decided to try and take a shot. You fucking sideswiped it. You missed the opportunity. Put us under pressure. Got cleared. Put us under pressure. We're not here to showboat you. We're here to win games.
Yeah. And
Joe's job's on the line. As much as we sit there and go, and I don't think it is, honestly, but in Joe's head, it's a results game. Millwall's a lot more understanding than most clubs, but if it gets too much to a level, it goes. I mean, what's his name said there? He's been sulking recently because he wanted to go to Burnley.
He's been sulking since January this year when he didn't get the move, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I think, as I've said before, he's been sussed out by the rest of the league in the style of play. 2 players around him or tight, and he doesn't seem to do anything about it. And that is absolutely, that is God's honest. It was Warnock what sussed him out, and as soon as and that's down to
the first time
again. It's down to Rowett. With the way Rowett played, he exposed all our players to bear all their secrets, and that's the problem. And what Edwards done is like, with the Qpr manager's press conference yesterday, was he turned around and said, they were playing a deeper line than what we thought. And that's purely because we were playing, our line wasn't deep. We suddenly lift that up. You can't get past us. And then we've got enough room to be able to chase you back down if you do. It just changed the game yesterday. It proper disrupted. And that's what I can see Edwards doing, is he's not necessarily going to, he's not going to be playing Argentina prime or Barcelona prime football. But what he's going to do is he's going to disrupt, certain teams coming or when we play certain teams of how they think we're going to play. And he's going to spin it on its head.
I also think with Edwards, and also coming back onto what you're saying about how we're playing, this job is massive for Joe Edwards. Millwall means a lot to him, not the club. He's not a fan, but this is his first job in management. If this doesn't go well, he's not going to get another job at a reasonable level. He's going to have to start at the bottom of the barrel, because people are going to go, yeah, you were the England under-20s coach, but you had your first real manager's job. And if it doesn't work, he's going to be at the bottom of the scrap heap. So this means a lot to him. I'm not saying, look, he's not going to kiss the badge, and he's not going to, he's not going to stay with us for 20 years if he gets some success and then someone comes in for him, he will probably move on. But he needs this to work. And if the players that he's putting out there aren't putting in performances and not scoring goals and not keeping the ball out of the net and not, making tackles or contributing, he eventually will have to find a way and find players that are going to do it. And then moving on to the way that we set up, I agree. We are setting up yesterday. We set up to stop QPR doing what they wanted to do. Our defensive shape was to stop them playing how they wanted to. But what we also did yesterday, we saw Norton Cuffy, Watmore, Amaku and Bradshaw. Now, okay, Amaku and Norton Cuffy are very, very quick, but Watmore and Bradshaw have also got pace. They are players that can hurt.
Excuse me?
On the
hang on. Have you been drinking today?
What?
Bradshaw has got pace.
Well, he's got more pace than Fleming and Nisbet.
I don't know about that.
He presses. You what?
He does press. He presses.
Yeah. But the geezer's about fucking 2'2".
Nah.
He's got one as well, hasn't he? He's got since the injuries, I think he's lost a little bit of pace, a bit of sharpness.
But in terms of
himself,
I could push a trolley faster.
Nah, if you watch in terms of that front four that we put out yesterday, maybe SA, but that's another issue. Other players in our squad cannot move around the pitch, and their movement is not as sharp as the other players. That's why those were playing yesterday, because they were able to carry the ball and chase the ball, and that's what Edwards wants. Tom Bradshaw's not going to be here after next summer. We all know that, but he wants someone that's able to get around the pitch.
I don't know that, to be fair, because what you've got with Bradshaw is a poacher. And he can be, Well, I think Joe just loves a poacher, because if he can find guys who can get the ball in and run at those keepers, and then all of a sudden throws a shot in across the goal, 9 times out of 10, Bradders is going to be there, and because of his experience, he'll just tap it in. We've been saying it for fucking years. The reason Bradshaw ain't scoring goals is because he's not getting service. If we suddenly turn that round,
he's a goal poacher, and you're asking him to sort of do other jobs. That's not his strengths, is he? But you're right. Put the ball in a 6-yard box, and 9 times out of 10, he's there. He's going to have a very good chance of scoring. What's also really interesting is Joe Edwards has always mentioned about Bradshaw's work rate, and he loves the fact he works hard, he presses high up the pitch. But he also uses Bradshaw as, an example. He talks about Nisbet, how Nisbet's got to be a bit more like Bradshaw. And I can only say that's a good thing, because we all know technically Nisbet is a better player than Bradshaw. Has a lot more to his game. He's better at link-up play. He's a better finisher. But what I've noticed in Nisbet the last sort of 4 or 5 games, he is working that bit harder. He is trying to press a bit more. Maybe not quite as much as Bradshaw, but again, Bradshaw in from the front. I'm conscious that Joe Edwards keeps saying this, but you've got to push yourself a bit more harder in games, and that's really worked. But who hasn't done that is Fleming as much. Maybe marginally he's pressing a bit more around the pitch, but not as much. But you look at Watmore, the last 2 games, he's pressing everyone. He's working his bollocks off. And that's the reason why Fleming is not going to start for Joe until Joe gets out of him what he wants to get out of him. Going back to the points for the last guy, I think Alex mentioned it and Colin mentioned it earlier as well. Fleming is a good player. He's not a bad player. And you can see he's got quality. Last season, the goals he's had, even yesterday when he come on, he had 2 chances, very, very unlucky. And he can make those things happen. But going back to Mickey's point, he needs to be loved. The team needs to be built around him to build his confidence up. But our team and our system doesn't quite suit the old ZM Fleming.
See, my question is this, right? And a lot of the older listeners, and you'll know where I'm coming from with this, Joe, and obviously Stephen to a degree. Is it the fact that Dutch football hasn't progressed as fast as English football, as in Dutch football still has wingers, still has that level of style about it, as in us now don't really have wingers in the typical sense?
Shall I tell you what it is, Mickey? I don't want to be name dropping again because I know I get tagged as being Joe the Stalker a little bit. But ZM Fleming told me when I was with him at the player sponsorship that there's a big difference between Dutch football and English football. And the thing he picked up on was how much quicker English football was, but also more how physical it was. And I'm not saying
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Sorry, I just had an opportunity to play it and I found it.
I'm not saying he didn't like it, but what he said was that was a big thing for him. Like, it took him a few games to adjust to it, but he actually said he enjoyed it, enjoyed the physical side of it, because in Dutch football, you touch someone, it's a free kick, whereas he quite liked it. But that doesn't mean to say that he's quick enough to adapt. You can see it in his play. He's not quick enough.
I personally think that while he was an unknown entity, and it took him, 5-8 games to get into it last season. While he was an unknown entity, he could pretty much do whatever he wanted to, because there was this big myth about him. I mean, Christ, you go back through, I haven't done one in a little while, but if you go back to a lot of the enemy behind the line sort of shows, behind enemy line shows, nearly every single opposition show, when the question went to any of our players that you'd like, every single one said Fleming. Fleming, right. Your boy Fleming. I haven't seen him play, but he's meant to be mustard. And that was what it was, just what we need in our team.
I think
and you're like, mate, listen. If Fleming goes and it means that all the fucking Dutch supporters stop coming, sweet.
I think that's unfair. I like seeing Fleming, and I think we can get him into this team, this system. But I've said it for a long time. As much as he likes playing as attacking midfield number 10, that's not his best position. I would much rather see him up top alongside Imaku. So you've got the pace of Imaku, maybe his strength, if you like, and then a Watmore or an SA or a Honeyman behind him in the 10.
You really would want to bank him on being up front.
Nicky, I prefer him up front. I don't rate him
and Bradshaw.
Or whoever in this bit. I prefer Maku because I like Maku in the middle. I like that pace that he's got. But I've said it for a very, very, very long time now. ZM Fleming needs to play up front. He's too slow. He slows play down when he plays that number 10 role. But you give him the ball in the box. He's a great finisher. He's good in the air. He can hold the ball up. He can play players in. That's where he needs to be playing. I think personally, but
I don't think you can have him solely up front, because I think he makes too many poor decisions. I need another touch on this when they're fucking coming. You watched the game. You watched it yesterday. Every time he went to do something with the ball, they were on him, and literally where he just needed to go, bop, bop. If he'd have just passed it straight out, we could have. There would have been a possible couple of goal scoring opportunities. But is that down to naivety, or is that down to the fact that he is young, and is it the fact that because don't forget he's come through Ajax fucking academy, so he's been trained the Dutch way.
Dennis Bergkamp was his 1-to-1 coach, he said.
Yeah, but is he? I've not really seen. I've not really seen it on internet. Has he been called up for every Holland game or not? He hasn't, has he?
No.
He's not
He
been
played
called
for
up. He
the
hasn't played for
under
the first team.
23s, under 21s, under 23s, but never had a call up for the first team. No.
Where is it there? Look, Frankie Long says, think Fleming gets a bit of a raw deal. He's been shit, but to a man, none of them have hit the standard of last season.
No.
Tough old job playing up top for a side that can't pass the ball. That's exactly where I'm going with. You're talking about putting Fleming up, but we moaned for so much of the last season that the problem was is that Bradshaw weren't getting service. If you've got Bradshaw or Fleming or Maku Fleming, whoever it is in that top two position, if they're not getting the service, they're going to be more out there than they are currently now. At least now, Fleming can hold the ball up, put a pole on, and all this sort of stuff, and go from there. So I don't know, but I do think the team
I just think
Joe Bryan though.
Yeah, I just can't see him starting in that number 10 position over Watmore at the moment. I think Watmore has kind of made a real big stake for that place there. I think Joe likes his fluidity. You know, when he receives the ball, the fact he can run at players. I mean, the goal we scored, Bradshaw's goal, was his run, running at the defenders who he then played in Saville, didn't he? And Saville got the cross in for Bradshaw. But again, like, you do question, maybe what was Ian Fleming doing in that position? Would he have slowed the game down a little bit? Would he have, who knows? I don't know. I just feel that Watmore links up better between the midfield and attack than Zian did. But Zian is by far a better finisher. And I would much rather see him higher at the pitch.
That comment about Fleming getting a bit of a raw deal, he probably does, and maybe the supporters, myself included, want more from him because they expect more from him.
Well, we only want the best for him. We want him to do well, don't we? You know.
But I do think last year he was, as Mickey said, he was the unknown entity. No one knew anything about him, really, did they? Let's be honest. Not opposition fans, players were going, "Who's this bloke? He's really, really good." Neil Warnock, as we've said,
first one who
who found a way to quieten Fleming, and then since then, obviously there's other influences with the whole Premier League move and stuff. I just think, as I said earlier, and with Fleming, he falls into this category. Joe Edwards' reputation and his managerial career is on the line by taking this job. Yeah. This is a big opportunity for him, and if players are not going to pull their weight in terms of goals, assists, and pressing and their passing, and if their decision making is not going to be right, he's going to try and find someone that can do that. And
Joe wants the players that are going to fight for him and give it 100% and leave everything on the pitch there. But I can't see Zian with the frame of mind that he's got at the moment, whether it's the move he didn't get, I don't know what it is, but he's not leaving it all on the pitch. Like you saw yesterday at the final whistle, Leonard falls to the floor, Saville falls to the floor, Honeyman on his knees. These players are giving it fucking everything. You know, Zian looked as fresh as a daisy now, and only came on for 20 minutes where it was, 50 minutes. But even so, you want players there to literally run your bollocks off. And I don't think
to me, I know that he loves Fortuna and, he's wanted to stay there to help him stay up and all that lot. And I know there's allegedly a big sell-on clause that if he ends up getting sold, then they get a lot of money. But personally, what I would say to him is, listen, if you want to repay your loyalty to Fortuna, go out there and prove that you are as good as what they thought you were. Because I'm telling you now, if you perform and you are as good as what you are, then Premiership clubs, European clubs will come and get you. But as long as you sit there running around the pitch as if you can't be fucking arsed, no fucker in their right mind will want you in their team.
That's right. That's right. Exactly that.
I'm not being funny, but any one of us three, and we're all fucking slightly fucking porky and overweight, mate, right? But any one of us would pretty much, I know we're Millwall fans, but we would pretty much kill ourselves to get on that pitch for a game.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. Do you know what I mean?
You would run around till you drop, wouldn't you? Until you couldn't come around anymore, But again, these players are not Millwall fans, are they? We've got to remember these are just jobs for them. You like to think that they do care much as we do. I'm sure they do to a certain degree, but it ain't life or death for them. For them, it's a job. They get paid for it, and they'll do what they've got to do.
Yeah,
No?
Alex has got a point there, innit? All last year, wasn't it? Loads of shows.
Yeah.
You know, Jed who? We got Zion Fleming. Jed who?
I tell you what, I'd love to have
But
Jed
right
back
now,
at the moment. He's
I'd fucking
fucking.
take Jed back.
Oh, he got a lovely assist for West Brom the other day as well, didn't he? I don't know if you saw that at all. But the West Brom fans absolutely love him. And the fact that those fuckers got him on a free as well pisses me off. Because I tell you what, if we had Jed Wallace in this squad, in this team at the moment, we would. I'm not saying that we'll be in the top two, but we'll definitely be fighting for the playoffs because he's the missing link. I think at the moment we're lacking that sort of player. But that's yesterday now, isn't it? We can't change or turn the clocks back, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? So yeah, I hope the same thing doesn't happen with Denor. I don't think it will, but here we go.
Always happy. He's not going anywhere. He's good unless someone comes in for him, of course.
I'm gonna give you a stat. Well, I saw that comment about Jed Wallace and Zian Fleming. Are you boys aware that Zian Fleming actually has more goals in the Championship this season than Jed Wallace?
This season?
Yes.
I bet you Jed Wallace got a few more assists though than he has. As a winger, that's what you want to see, really.
Find that out. But yeah, he has more goals than Jed.
Yeah, I reckon Jed's probably got about 5 or 6 assists this season already. I reckon. I'm pretty sure of it.
Connor, nice of you to give us that engagement, mate, to his partner today. Don't worry.
I should get the credit for that, by the way.
Joe will be at the wedding anyway.
I can't believe that. You know what? Joking aside, when his missus come over, and I was with them and Cohen, if you're listening, hope you're all good. I was joking around saying, why is he not proposed to you yet? And she was saying, it's been 10 years been together and he won't propose to me and all that stuff. And I was joking around with Casper saying, like, when you're going to propose to her, like you're winding him up a little bit. So I reckon I've definitely planted the seed there. So I'm going to message his old man after this. I'm going to say to him, I think his missus owes me a pint of Guinness or something when next time she comes over.
And when the divorce happens and he loses half his football career money and his house,
then I'll change my number.
Then Joe will give you all of that back. If you want my tip in life, mate. I
believe that. That's amazing news. Connor, how did you find that out, by the way? Is that on his
It's on Instagram.
Is it?
Joe, I'm amazed you haven't seen it on Instagram. It was up there earlier.
Mate, I'm on Instagram, but I don't really use it. I think it's a bit too cool for me. I'm a bit old school. I don't mind a bit of Facebook and a bit of Twitter.
Joe's on Facebook. He's that age. You see, I'm not on Facebook because I just think I'm not old enough.
You're really old. That's what it is. I'm in the middle.
Fuck off. You're older than me.
So
Peckham Poet.
Before...
Sorry, just one sec. Peckham Poet. I see your profile picture. Are you a comedian, by the way? Are you a stand-up comedian? I'm not trying to be funny.
Or a karaoke singer.
Yeah. Are you a stand-up comedian? Because if you are, then drop me a DM on Twitter.
Or a Suggs impersonator.
I'm working on something for next year, and obviously, I know a couple of other Millwall comedians who obviously understand Millwall fans.
That's definitely comedy, it says they've done it on that one.
I don't know, mate. I can't see. I've got a little tiny
on his
viewpoint
profile,
what I'm looking.
On the back of it says comedy, something comedy club, I think it's called.
That's why I asked the question. I think he struggles because we can't seem to get the ball wide and put in decent delivery into his box. Yeah, that's what I said. He's not creative, but when he gets a chance, he's clinical. But he does fuck me off. He just doesn't move. No, he doesn't, and he doesn't track back either. Go on, Joe, Stephen.
How many assists, and Mickey as well? How many assists do you think Jed Wallace has this season?
3.
Jed Wallace.
Joe, yeah,
I'm going for 5.
Mickey's bang on. So he's got 3 goals and 3 assists, and Zian Fleming's got 4 goals and 2 assists. So between the two of them,
so there isn't
obviously one more assist for Jed, one more goal for Zian. So the comparisons, we've said it about Raoult. I really hope that we can, as Mickey said earlier, come away from talk. He's gone now. He was the manager. Great. Thank you very much. Leave. Jed Wallace was a good player for us. He won us a lot of games on his own, but he's not here anymore. But if you're looking at a comparison between the two of them at the moment, there isn't an awful lot between them. So
that's a comment of the show, isn't it? Maybe Casper has planted his own seed, and that's why he's finally proposed.
I showed him the way. I kind of pointed in the direction where he needs to go. That's where it's gone. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Wannabe comedian.
He's got a club in Peckham, Queens Road. Fuck me, you've got to be quite good to have a comedy shop on Queen. But then again, Queens Road now is
Peckham, Queens Road.
Queens Road's gone quite woke now, though, isn't it?
So he owns the club
compared to where it used to be
in Peckham. Does he own the club? Does he, the comedy club?
Sorry, Joe. Do you want me and Stephen to just go and you can have a conversation?
So, the Peckham Poet. So, do you own a club? Do you in Peckham, a comedy club? Is that what you're saying? I'm waiting for him to reply to me. And I can't hear him.
If you want to call Joe's telephone number is 07944 681 999.
No.
So no. Listen, so we've done about an hour. I do think Joe Bryan, Old Man's Working Club, Norfolk House.
Okay. Right.
Okay. What was I going to say? Fuck's sake. Yeah. Tell us about. Those of you who are listening and have not got bored of Joe's interview technique, just begin. The whole comments now are just Peckham Poet. Can we just have a few jokes? Can we just give us your best Christmas cracker joke you had this year? There we go. Open up the comments.
No pressure.
No pressure. I think we looked a hell of a lot better yesterday with Joe Bryan starting.
Yeah, agree. And again, and what more as well made a big difference. But yeah, Joe Bryan, just the quality on that left side he's got, you know. He's a bit quicker, more quicker than Murray, better on the turn. His positioning's better. His distribution's better. His passing's better. I think just a better all-round player. You can see why he's a Premiership level player, or certainly a decent Championship player, if that, you know.
What's really funny though, and again going back to the second half yesterday and Joe Bryan, I agree, much better with him in the side, a lot more balance, a lot more quality. But Murray Wallace in the last 5 or 6 games has now got a goal and 2 assists from left back, and it's amazing because, and I've been firmly in the, you know, someone else needs to come in, but you know, if there was ever a case that someone perhaps hasn't been happy with his performances and is trying his best to still get involved, it is Murray Wallace.
Great.
However, I think it was clear to see yesterday that Joe Bryan is just a step above.
Absolutely,
above Wallace at this time.
Absolutely, and in some ways, you kind of want Ian Fleming to take a leaf out of Murray Wallace's book. You know, if you're not playing well, or you're making a mistake or whatever, you've got to try, ain't you? You've got to give it 100% and make the best you can with what you've got. You know, what you're doing.
And I actually thought for large parts, going back to, I mean, we're obviously more so with Bryan on the pitch. I thought for large parts again in the second half, I thought we played all right. QPR didn't really have a lot. I think they're good, even though they've obviously improved from under Ainsworth. They're not going to be. No, they're not going to be getting themselves out of trouble anytime soon. I think they'll be down there for. Sorry, I've just seen a comment come through. I think they're going to be down there for the long term, but yeah, we did our jobs. We've got some good players. And like in Bryan and Amaku, what more that we need to see a little bit more of. But it was just nice to, as we said at the start of the show here, rocking all over the world.
Yeah. At
the Den, and grateful as that comment from Steve there. Grateful that that we come out on the right side of it.
No, so Steve Anderson has just joined, who's I think a new listener. And he says, very grateful for the win yesterday, but you can see why both teams are in the bottom 6. Not a lot of quality on show. Not wrong, is he?
No. That's exactly right. Although I do feel that we will slowly pull out of that, and I reckon I think the tide's turned now. I'm not saying we're going to win against Norwich, but I think we'll do all right. We might get a draw against them. Obviously, Bristol City will be a tough one on New Year's Day. but I can see us picking up a lot more points going forward. And like I said, the January transfer window's here now. Even if Joe brings in 2 or 3 players, a couple of loans and maybe one signing perhaps, and it's his sort of players with a bit of pace, that might make all the difference. That might really help us propel us higher up the league, I'm hoping for anyway.
So on Friday, we have Norwich at the Den. No doubt it's going to be another sellout at the Den. And I think Norwich have not lost in the last 12 games, I think, isn't it? Is it 12 games?
I think they're quite inconsistent,
They
aren't
lost yesterday. They lost yesterday to West Brom.
Oh,
Before that, I think they were on a really good run. But they had a player sent off yesterday who'd be unavailable.
Who's a good player there as well.
Yes, Sainz, I think it is.
Good player. He scored against us at the Den last season, didn't he? He scored a bit of a worldie.
No, that's Sarah. That's Gabriel Sarah.
Yeah.
Is Long still in goal? We've got Paul.
No.
That's the main question. Is Long still in goal?
No, he's not. Angus Gunn has become has now come back from his injury spell. But the sellout. There was loads of empty seats there yesterday. I think they include the season ticket holders for their figures, whether or not they were there or not.
I think that's what it was.
But Norwich, they are I think around the time that we Rowett left, however you want to word it, their manager Wagner was under real pressure. They wanted him gone. They were chanting for him to leave. But as Mickey said before, yesterday they put on quite the run of form, and now Wagner is kind of keeping his job.
Yeah.
For
is
now.
Josh Sargent still injured for them at the moment, or is he back now?
That's a really good question. I don't think he played
He's
yesterday.
a real thorn in our side. Every time we play against them, when he's played, he's always scored against us, isn't he?
Yeah. The thing is, they've got some good play. They do have some good players, and it's gonna be a tough game. One of my best mates is a Norwich fan who's coming to the game, and I keep saying to him I don't really hold out much hope because I think we're going to struggle.
If you're the worst, hope for the best.
If Line Bikes want to sponsor our show, then more than happy to get in touch with us.
Josh Sargent didn't make the squad yesterday.
Last game,
Joe. Yeah,
against West Brom. That's good. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
So he may not be around.
Yeah, even he's back. I don't know whether he is or not, but if he is, he surely wouldn't be starting against, will he?
And he wouldn't be fit if he wasn't in the squad yesterday.
That's
he
true.
Wouldn't be fit to start on Friday. But there's no. It's the last game of 2023. This year's been, I would say, one of the more interesting years supporting Millwall on the basis that there was so much promise,
so much football this year as well.
Yeah, so much, so many games, so many things that have gone on. Obviously, Berylson as well, and everything. It would be really nice to just go on Friday and enjoy the game and put on a performance to close out the year. I don't know if it's going to come. I really don't. But I don't see why. We owe Norwich as well. They beat us a few times recently, so I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we certainly owe them.
Yeah, and also it's just encouraging. I think I'm not saying a lot of fans are on Joe Edwards' back, but there is certainly a section of fans that are not buying into it and are not happy with Joe. But all I've got to say is you've got to back the guy. You can see what he's trying to do. It was never going to be a simple change of like clicking a finger, right, boom, there you go. There's this amazing football we want to play on the front foot and all the rest of it. It's going to take time. But as long as you can appreciate what he's trying to do and hopefully can see the players are performing, they are definitely playing for him. You could feel the players are giving it their all, probably more so than they did with Rowett, yesterday's performance again, another one you can see quite clearly they're all trying for him. The fans, you need to sort of stick behind them really, and just get behind and be positive,
Absolutely, and also just looking at the fixtures on Friday. So QPR travel to Ipswich.
That's a tough one for them, which I'm quite pleased about.
Stoke travel to Watford, who I know Watford are a bit hit and miss, but and Stoke have got their new manager.
What about Birmingham? Because Birmingham are on a decline, aren't they?
Yeah, beat Bristol City, which is
okay.
Could be
Bristol
indifferent.
City won. Was it 4-0, 4-1 yesterday against? Was it who they beat 4-1 yesterday? Was it? It's a good side they beat, didn't they? Is it Leeds? No.
No, they beat Watford. Funny enough,
Watford 4-1. Yeah,
4-1.
That was away at Watford, wasn't it as well?
Yeah, Rotherham, Sunderland. So
Leeds lost, didn't they?
Leeds lost.
And Leicester lost. Didn't Leicester lose?
They drew 1-1 with Ipswich. But yeah, I can see Birmingham dropping. I can see Birmingham dropping into that relegation battle. They're form-wise, I think we're about 16th in the table at the moment, where they're like right down there at the bottom three. I think Sheffield Wednesday pulled out of it form-wise.
Yeah,
we're still the bottom
there. No, overall form.
Oh, right,
yeah. But I think the ones that are back in trouble, I think, is QPR, Rotherham, and who else is down there?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes, but they've had a couple of wins, haven't they, in the last sort of 6-7 games?
This is why I hate doing it. But you look at the other fixtures. If we can get a result against Norwich on Friday, I know it's all if buts and maybes, but with QPR travelling to Ipswich, and you'd think that Ipswich are going to win that game. If we can get a result on Friday, we could end up going into the new year with a 9 point ahead of the bottom three.
Yeah.
So that's what Edwards needs to use. He's got to use the first home win. I think there was a comment there that said that it's probably big for him and big for us to push on. He's got to use the fact that this has probably brought him a little bit of respite from some of the supporters, as you say, Joe, that have been on his back. It gives him a little bit of breathing space, and it's an opportunity to kind of try and throw down a little bit of a marker for the rest of the season. Whether we get that or not,
you know what? I don't know. If we win on Friday and other results go our way, I know this is a massive if, but we're only like 7 points from a playoff place. Suddenly we're looking ahead rather than looking down. Is what I'm saying. Is we're 9 points away from relegation and 7 points from a playoff spot. So we're suddenly in a good position again, aren't we? I know we're in mid-table, but the point I'm making is the dynamics just changed, doesn't it, completely?
Well, you said earlier, Joe, the dynamics change after a home win, leaving the ground, the buzz.
Sorry, it sounds like you're farting, Stephen, as you're talking.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your microphone is cutting in and out, like as if you're farting every time you speak.
It's like you had too many sprouts for Christmas.
I might need to come off of it. Is he still doing it?
Yeah. Just crackly.
Give me 1 second. Nicky, are you logged in?
Yeah.
Absolutely, Chris Brown. Absolutely. We've got to be. I think you've got to be that. You've got that mentality, haven't you? If you're constantly looking below you and talking about relegation and not getting beat, that's not going to help your confidence. Yeah, we get a win against Norwich. Suddenly, we're 7 points away from the sixth spot, and you've got to be thinking positively. You've got to think about winning games rather than worry about losing games.
I think that at the moment,
absolutely, Steve.
I think that what you call it is higher up the playoffs. Okay, look, I don't think we're necessarily going to get in the playoffs, but I do believe that if I think Leicester's probably going to walk it, but realistically, the other teams up there they only need to have hit with injuries.
I think Ipswich and Leicester are definitely they're going to put it away, aren't they?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, if Ipswich can recover from their a bit of a blip, didn't they? They lost to Leeds. They drew. I know there was a good point against Leicester, so they played their two rivals. If they can weather that storm, then maybe they'll pull clear. Leicester are going to walk away with it, I think.
Any room on that one, Steve? Before it goes, sorry, on Tom Lawrence. I quite like Tom Lawrence. I think he's a very good player. I don't know if you heard about that at all, did you?
I don't even know. Where is he now? Is he still at Derby?
I think he was.
Then it's a no from me.
No, he's not. He's actually at Rangers.
Really?
Oh, he'd moved to Rangers.
Interesting for Cooper.
Yeah. He'll play that kind of number 10 role, won't he? Like the Fleming sort of role.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that concerns me with him now is that he is he's going to be 30 in January.
Really? Already? Bloody hell.
And I don't know. He has been a good player over the years, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one myself. And it seems an odd one that Edwards would go for. As I said before, I had to nip out. The wireless headphones were running out of charge.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Not the Brussels sprouts.
No, not the Brussels sprouts. I think it's right to try and look forward, and that's what a positive result does. But again, you can't. We all got carried away at Sheffield Wednesday a little bit, and we saw how that went. We just have to try and make sure that at a point, if we get a point on Friday, I wouldn't be too disappointed with that, because it is something to build on. It'd be another game that we haven't lost. It would be a backup of a result.
Exactly. Yeah. And I said, going back to the tactics, I think when Joe first come in, he basically took the shackles off them, didn't he, against Sheffield Wednesday? Went, right, there you go, express yourself, play on the front foot, high line. But when you look at the negatives of that game, Sheffield Wednesday had so many chances, and had they took their chances, we wouldn't have walked away with a 4-0 win. Yeah, it would have been a real tough game. Could have ended up losing that, let alone drawing it. And a few games leading after that, we carried on the same sort of way, which kind of backfired. But I do believe the last 4 games, he's changed the whole approach completely and gone a bit more defensive, lower line, which is kind of helping us at the moment. We definitely look better defensively. But whenever we play more expandable football against any good sides, they always seem to hurt us. Like yesterday's game, there's a chance where, I can't remember who it was. It was their winger coming at the far post, the cross coming from the left. And he literally, I thought it was a goal. And he just hit the shot and went past the left post. I thought, how bloody close is that? But again, if that was a Norwich, if that was a Leeds, if that was a West Brom, wherever you want to, anyone at the top half would have probably took that chance. But we're lucky. We're giving away these chances to teams that are struggling, are low in confidence. They're not taking these chances. But like Huddersfield the other week,
So, question for you then, Stephen first, and then Joe. What's your score prediction for tomorrow? Get your score predictions in for Friday, against Norwich.
If for the purposes of my friendship with my mate Tom, Millwall are going to win 5-1. But for the purposes of everything else and just the lack of confidence in us being able to get back-to-back wins, I'm going to go with 2-2.
You know what? I was going to say that as well. I'd much rather love for us to win. I'll take 2-2. I can see it being 2-2. I can see us conceding against them. I can also see us scoring 1 or 2. So I'm going to go for 2-2 as well.
Mickey?
I'm going 2-1.
2 Millwall.
Ever the upbeat.
I just think that the positivity from the win yesterday, the fact that the team have got a positivity hit, and I think that Norwich are beatable on their day, and I think that positivity could potentially work. Looks
2-2 again. I'll put it down 2-2.
To be fair, Stokes, Birmingham and Huddersfield sparked Blackburn, so 2 points in hindsight isn't bad.
Yeah,
we've got 1-1, 1-1. Cole's gone 1-0 win. Norwich playing poor at the moment.
I don't think I'm not sure about that.
I know, but it's Norwich though, isn't it? They always seem to get the better of us, don't they?
I think same team we had yesterday. Keep the positivity, keep the run, and yeah, that's it. Dan Riggs says 2-1 win, same as me.
To be fair,
I'll take the draw Friday with a performance being more important, so I'll say 1-1.
Yeah.
To be fair, Norwich, they've only lost 2 in 9, and they've won 5 in that spell and held Ipswich at Ipswich in their derby. So I don't think they're in as bad a form as what people think they are. As I say, before that they were in shocking form, and Wagner was close to going.
That was George Long though, wasn't it? He was costing them a lot of games.
Yeah, that probably had a lot to do with it. So it's going to be tough. The only thing that as I say, they lost yesterday. They did have a player sent off, and maybe with us winning, they'll be in a bit of a lower mood. We'll be in a bit of a better mood going into the game. But It won't be as easy as what people think.
No, I don't think so. But we'll get there.
What we need to do, though, we need to get Bradshaw if he starts. We need to get him to take one for the team within the first 5 minutes and just fly kick the goalkeeper. And then they'll have to bring on George Long. Yeah, they'll have to bring on George Long.
Exactly.
And then open it up a little bit. But it'd be a good game. As I say, last one of 2023, and hopefully we can end it the right way and look forward to, as you said, Joe, the January transfer window and what that might bring.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It'd be quite exciting. So we'll see. We'll see.
So then, did your boys have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I didn't do too much. I don't know about you, Stephen, but I just ate and drank loads and just chilled. And like yourselves.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. At Christmas Day, we always do the same. We had I can't remember, something happened a few years ago where plans all went to shit, and we just literally from that moment on. So from that moment on, we just literally went, that's it, we stay at home. We don't do anything. We don't go anywhere. We don't go out. We just literally, the kids get to play with whatever they got, watch shite telly, eat fucking cracking food, big fucking roast dinner.
And fall asleep in front of the TV.
No, don't fall asleep. Just keep eating and drinking. Listen, sleeping is for wimps, mate. Don't sleep because that ruins all
you don't sleep at all.
Alcohol.
I usually your text sometimes on a school night could be like 1 o'clock in the morning, but yet you'll get a text off Mickey at 6 o'clock in the morning thinking, does this fucker not sleep? Like he's up for work at 5:30, 6 in the morning.
And also, it's not even a fact that you get a message at 6 o'clock. You get a voice note of him saying, "I'm on the road. I'm on the road already." Yeah.
You don't, how many hours?
I survive on about 2 to 4 hours. A day. Yeah, a night.
You don't feel tired. You don't feel tired towards the end.
No, last night I went to bed. The last night I finally went to sleep about 4, and I was back up at 7:30.
Fucking hell! If I don't get 8 hours, I'm fucked. Seriously.
It's not the Millwall valve, is it? Not the Millwall valve, mate.
Oh, I'll tell you, terrible like that.
Listen, my methodology is that you can sleep all you like. Listen, you can spend all the time asleep when you're dead, mate. Until that time comes.
Oh, I'm with you.
I'm perfectly well. I don't have thingy. When I get to a stage where I need to sleep, I will sleep, and I might sleep for a good few hours. But it will go on. So
that's good though.
Oh, now saying that, I'm fucking yawning.
I'm fucking sleeping.
No, look, if you've not already checked it out, antibiotics for tooth infection. Ouch. If you've not checked it out, Chapford Chaps, the post-match reaction with Chaps is on our YouTube channel now, uploaded earlier, where he dissects, obviously, the game against QPR yesterday. Also, he does give Qpr a bit of a bashing as well. So check that out, have a listen there. Everyone's coming in now telling us how I get 6 straight hours. Margaret Thatcher says all you need is 4 hours sleep, pretty much. Mate.
Yes, if you're sat in your arse all day, I guess. Someone did say once, like, unless you're physical, like you're working there, if you're running around doing stuff, you don't need to have as much sleep, apparently. Like, if you're just sort of like sat down using your brain, whatever. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not. You don't need to use as much sleep.
No, I mean, I do a lot of driving as well. So, it's
more mentally than physically.
Any sleep experts that are watching, if you can get involved and let us know, that'd be great, because we don't know what we're talking about.
I don't really care. So, I do what I need to do. Do you know what I mean? If I need to sleep, I sleep.
Who mentioned they had the shits there? Someone said they had the shits at Christmas.
Chris.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah. I think he had a dodgy. I think I had a dodgy turkey. I had the shits all day, Boxing Day.
Who cooked the turkey, Chris? That must have been Chris's fault.
Have you seen it for the second year running? The second year running, so many of these supermarkets where people have gone to defrost their turkeys and they're just fucking rotten.
Yeah,
I do the turkey every year. The missus does all the boring stuff like potatoes, the veg, and whatever. But I spend time with the turkey, and I actually, spend a lot of time sort of massaging it, give it a good little, massaging the turkey and start talking to it, start slapping the turkey's ass and all that. Honestly,
put it in a slow cooker.
It's so much better when it comes
Put it
out.
in a slow cooker upside down with loads of butter on top of
Really?
onions for 5.5 hours. Yeah. Keeps the breast.
Well, then you turn it back over again after.
Yeah, so put that in for 5.5 hours. Take it out, bang it in the oven for 20 minutes. So it'll like crisp up.
Yeah.
And then fucking let it sit for 40 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes. Carve it all up, mate, and you'll have perfect turkey. And if you want perfect Yorkshire puddings, you need 200 grams of flour, plain flour, 3 eggs.
You make your own, do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 eggs, and then 300 grams of cold milk. Mix it or put the eggs in the flour. Start mixing it. Add the milk. Really fucking batter it all up. Get your little Yorkshire pudding.
Cooking show.
Your Yorkshire pudding tin. Drop of oil in the bottom. Mix it around the edge so it's all in. Bung it in the oven for 10 minutes. Boil that oil right up. Bring it out. Throw your Yorkshire puddings in. Bung them in the oven, 200 degrees, and leave them in there. Don't open the door. Just leave them in there for 30 minutes, and you will have the biggest, fucking softest, crunchiest Yorkshire puddings. Is it better
than Aunt Betty's ones?
Oh, mate, I piss all over Aunt Betty.
Really?
Yeah.
On that note, Mickey, Cooking with Mickey channel will be announced next week with special guest Gordon Ramsay rating his food. Mike,
it's much better.
To be fair, after the last couple of shows, we've gone off on tangents.
Yorkshire puddings don't go on a Christmas. Yes, they do go on a Christmas dinner.
You got
because you're going to have turkey, you have beef, don't you? You have ham,
stuffing.
So, yeah. Well, what you were doing with the turkey, mate, we don't need to know about. Hot oil is key for Yorkshire puds, 100%. Otherwise, and also if you open the oven in the middle, they will fucking flop. Absolutely. So yeah, give the turkey a nice rub, a bit of love, and then put it back in the Tesco fridge.
Well, you can see that. This is so. My missus filming me. There you go. Proof.
This that's comment of the show. Millwall's male version of Nigella.
Thank you very much. Let's just go through these. Let's go through these comments quickly before we go, because I didn't show them. I just highlighted them. I thought we need to get a Maku one-on-one. We've done once. Done got booked, as he would have got skinned. Skinned him, would have got him sent off. 100%.
Said the same thing.
We need to get Alex Mitchell back. Coops is a bench warmer and give Saville the armband. I agree with that 100%. Mako needs to have a run of games, and his pace will bring chances. Agree. Despite poor form, I think he would have dropped Cooper for a young ball playing centre. I don't think he would drop Cooper for a young ball playing centre half in a relegation battle. Perception will be we need his leadership and experience. And now we go on to Bobby, who thinks Norwich will be tough. They have Ashley Barnes.
That's true. He's a right cunt, isn't he, Ashley Barnes?
But they do also have a lot of good players around Ashley Barnes, so it will be a tough game. It will be a tough game.
Richard Lacey says, sell Fleming by Cuffy, Styles and Creswell.
I don't think there'd be enough money, would it?
You're not told Joe about shut the fuck up clocks yet? No, I haven't yet. So, yeah. Fleming seems to play better when he has a better fight for the place. Do we need to see Fleming in a good team to see how good he is? Maybe we're holding him back. Yeah, I don't think we are there. Crowd needs to play its part. Wasn't great yesterday.
No, it was better though, Dan. It was slightly better, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're going to be doing clocks next year, and I think a lot of the fans want a shut the fuck up, Joe clock.
So what happens? So what you're saying is there's an alarm clock that wakes you up in the morning, and you've got to say shut the fuck up.
No, it's just a clock with shut the fuck up written in the middle of it.
Really? Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Yeah. That's the thing. So look, that's it for us. We are done for another couple of days. That's just for those that know.
That's your perverted mind, Chris, not mine, mate.
And I know that you're not on about the book, Joe. The book, Chris. So yeah, that brings back an old memory, mate. Fucking hell. When I was a kid, that went round. Yeah. That's going to be the new Posh and Beck's dance craze. Okay. Yeah, Animal Farm. Christ, all I can think of Animal Farm now. That's with the eels and the moth, isn't it?
That's the storybook version you're thinking of, not the pornographic version.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the pornographic version.
I haven't seen it. I heard about it. Is that where they're fucking chickens and things like that?
No, it's more about where she. Yeah, have a Google. I'm not going to do it because
I was going to say, not now.
This takes us back to our sticking magazines, Mickey, in the woods.
It involves a tube and some live animals. Let's leave it there. If I'm thinking right, Chris will tell me.
Or was that another one? Chris is the expert. I'm sure Chris will tell us if that's right or wrong.
And we'll end on this. Anyone say that a Mickey was sub walked past Coldblow Lane and
he
got
didn't.
his clap?
Did he kiss the badge?
Kissed the badge. Love that.
Love that. Yeah.
Monica. Thanks, Monica. We'll end with Monica's message. Mickey, the new galloping gourmet. And on that, that's it. That's it from us for now. And if you stay to the end on a podcast, very, very good and loyal of you. Enjoy. Let's go beat Norwich.